Today, China produces more scientists than any other country. And they're among the best on the planet. Leading their fields in medicine, robotics, radio astronomy, high-energy physics, quantum computing, and cosmology. From reinventing food production, helping to feed almost 8 billion of us, to tackling the diseases of old age, and building a more sustainable society, China is showing us the way. And from deep sea to deep space, they are at the vanguard of human exploration. Their work is not only shaping the future of China, but the future for all of us. And the stories of their scientists are our stories too. Welcome to a new age of Eastern science.
Let's turn over. Ready, rolling.
Our war on disease is one that's been fought throughout human history. It's killed and maimed more people than any other conflict. And today it's still being fought as fiercely as ever, as we investigate a worrying rise in kidney failure and tackle the time bomb of dementia in an aging population. This is the story of 3 life scientists in China who've devoted their lives to a fight which pitches science against nature.
If there's no cure for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, US medical system will collapse. UK medical system will collapse. Chinese medical system will collapse. By 2050, we'll see a breakdown of medical system. It's a race against nature. We are making a race together. My name is Pumu Min. I'm an explorer of the brain and mind. Proportionally, 1/3 of people above 85 gets Alzheimer's. Around the globe, it's all the same. You have a huge population of people with neurodegenerative disease. So we need to be able to cure Alzheimer's disease. The way to cure, of course, you will develop a drug, but so far the Alzheimer's drug, none of them are successful. Every one of them failed. Billions and billions of dollars wasted. Why is that? It's because people use mice to test the effectiveness of the drug. Many drugs that work on mice failed a human clinical trial.
In a bid to find a better animal model for studying degenerative diseases of the human brain, scientists have turned to a closer relative, the monkey.
Now, the closest animals that can be used for experiment, globally, everybody agrees, is macaque monkey. Because they have a very similar physiology and anatomy, especially brain anatomy. Monkey is the closest animal that we can do preclinical experiment. So our goal has been to set up animal models using monkey as an animal model. On the other hand, they need to all have the same genes, same genetic background. So if we cure the symptom, you know the drug is working on this disease problem, rather than due to genetic background. So we need monkeys with identical genetic background. That's why we end up 5 years ago deciding we have to clone monkey.
The first mammal to be cloned by humans was a sheep called Dolly in 1996. Since then, other mammals, including dogs, horses, and cows, have also been cloned. But monkeys seem to be a lot harder.
People have tried primates, not that people haven't tried, but all the monkey cloning has failed. So in 2012 and 13, we tried to optimize the procedure of transplantation. That's the first key. That's actually very difficult. To take the nucleus out of the egg, replace with a new nucleus, that procedure is mechanical. It causes damage. And in fact, the primate egg are very sensitive to this mechanical perturbation. So we have to optimize the procedure of transplantation. That's the first thing we overcome. In the evolution of a primate, their embryonic development is very sensitive. If you replace the nucleus of the egg, they don't develop well. Their genes are closed. Many genes are not expressed. So what you have to do is you have to modify the transplanted nucleus to open up genes that are required for embryonic development. In fact, at least 3 or 4 years we're spending on overcome this. So we see the moment of potential success is coming when we have very good embryo developed in the dish.
Other groups around the world had also got this far with their own attempts to clone a primate. But the biggest challenge was yet to come: growing this ball of cells into a newborn baby using a surrogate mother.
We become more and more nervous because you still have 6 months of pregnancy you have to overcome. So we wait, we have a small team watching the transplanted surrogate mother throughout the entire pregnancy, monitoring with ultrasound. We have 24-hour veterinarians watching the video of the behavior of the monkey. We are afraid that during the birth, some accident could happen. So once the water broke, we did cesarean section, or at past midnight. 中中 and Hua Hua. I feel very happy, of course, but it's more a surprise. It's a homegrown team who did something that the best teams in the national laboratories in the US failed. Isn't that something that was to be joyful? It was a proud moment, but I immediately realized just proving we can do cloning is not enough.
Muming's cloned monkeys would only be helpful if they had the brain diseases he was trying to cure in the first place. Breeding a cloned monkey with a specific disease to be modeled and cured would require editing the genes of the embryo before implanting it into the mother, something that Muming's team was now racing to achieve.
So we immediately set the next milestone to clone a monkey which has a disease symptom. And that was accomplished within a year. We produced 5 identical clones from a monkey which has a clear sleep disorder, anxiety and depression symptom. So now we need to have a macaque which shows symptoms of brain disease so that they become a model for testing the effect of the drug. So the next milestone, which we set in 3 years, we have to show that a cloned monkey can be used to develop a useful therapy. Now that's the next milestone. That's the milestone we're really looking for. Unless that's successful, I'm not done. Our people are not done. The real goal hasn't been achieved.
Racing nature to find a cure for Alzheimer's disease is high on the list of medical priorities for all of us. But the brain is not the only organ that fails us during our lives. Kidney disease in China has dramatically increased in recent years. It's a mystery that one Chinese scientist has devoted the last decade of her life to solving.
Approximately 850 million people across the world live with some form of kidney disease. This is a large burden for governments and individuals. Preventing chronic kidney disease is a big healthcare challenge. My name is Fan Ho, and I'm fascinated with kidney disease. The kidney are two bean-shaped organs, and each about the size of a fist. They are responsible for maintaining a health balance of water, salt, and minerals. The kidney is also responsible for removing the toxins from the body. The health kidney filtered about 100 milliliter blood every minute, and it can produce some hormones to help control our blood pressure, produce the red blood cells, and keep our bone strong and healthy. They are amazing organs, I think. In China, chronic kidney disease affects about 120 million people and is now the fastest growing cause for death. People with advanced kidney failure can only survive on dialysis to remove the toxins. By 2017, about 500,000 patients were receiving dialysis in China.
Faced with this growing problem, Fan Ho and her team started to look into the patterns of kidney disease across the country. They quickly found that hotspots of poor kidney health mapped onto some of the most heavily polluted parts of China, specifically in cities with very low air quality.
This led us to suspect that the quality of the air may impact the kidney health. The air pollution is known to cause respiratory and cardiovascular disease, but its impact on kidney health is unclear.
Fan Ho and her team knew that when particles of pollution from car exhausts or the burning of coal used in heavy industry are inhaled, the lungs can become inflamed, releasing inflammatory molecules into the blood, which might damage other organs in the body, perhaps even the kidneys. But no one had any data to prove the theory.
We just discussed the topic, and all the investigators, they are all interested in this project and believe that the hypothesis might be the truth. So everybody wants to be involved in this study.
To fully investigate, Fan Ho and her collaborators would need to mount one of the largest kidney studies in history.
So over 71,000 kidney biopsies were taken over 11 years in more than 900 hospitals in nearly 300 cities across China. To ensure the accuracy of the data, all the kidney samples were processed and analyzed in 6 central pathology labs. So this is a huge project. I'm working for 10 to 12 hours every day. And every week I need to visit my patients in hospital ward. So yes, very busy. We spent 11 years to collect the data and spend more than 1 year to analyze the data.
Their rigorous data analysis would look for incidents of one of the most common kidney diseases, known as membrane nephropathy, and how it correlated with a type of air pollution involving tiny particles called PM2.5.
When we first saw the frequency of membrane nephropathy and the exposure level to PM2.5 among the different regions, we all surprised because they are well matched. The regions with high level of PM2.5 also have the high rates of membrane nephropathy. If we can solve this problem, more patients may get good life. Fortunately, air pollution is a preventable risk factor. So good news is, as the extensive strategies for reducing the air pollution have been taken by the Chinese government, the level of PM2.5 in the air has been reduced by 20 to 35%. And interestingly, the frequency of membrane nephropathy has stopped climbing. This is the first time we demonstrated reducing the air pollution may decrease the risk of chronic kidney disease. So it's a good news. A world without kidney disease is our dream.
Fan Ho's work to identify the causes of chronic kidney disease might have helped to stem its rise in China, but treating those who are still suffering from kidney failure in such a populous country is a huge problem. In fact, it's such an immense challenge that it demands a really radical solution.
By some estimate, in China alone, there are basically 8 million people waiting for kidney transplant. The supply is in the tens of thousands. There's a huge gap between the demand and supply. My name is Duan Qinpei, and I want to custom build an organ, for instance, a kidney, for an individual. That's one of our dreams. All of us come from a single cell. They self-organize and they grow. How can this one single cell become a vibrant individual like each one of us, made of maybe 200 trillion cells? Some of the cells become your hair, some of the cells become your eyes, some of the cells become your tendon, your muscle. There must be a program, a specific instruction embedded in that genome. Because the whole thing is automated, right? It's an automatic process. Everything is on autopilot. So the question is, can we uncover that autopilot? And that's really the secret of life.
Finding this autopilot, the program which instructs a general cell to become a specific tissue cell in our body, starts with the study of so-called stem cells.
So stem cells are actually a very general terms, is describing a kind of cells that can give rise to many other progenies. So a simple procedure for us is just to collect 200 cc of urine. Within that urine, there are healthy cells. We can turn them into cells capable of generating all cells in our body. This is what we call reprogramming, and this has changed everything. So now our entire research is focused on how can we turn cells into tissues and organs. And the one I particularly like is the tooth, because it's a simple. If we can turn those cells into teeth, that can give us a sort of a model, and then we can try to understand the principles behind how simple cells eventually they self-organize and they grow, and eventually they actually mineralize themselves and become a shiny teeth.
To better understand how to grow a reprogrammed tooth cell into an actual tooth, Duan Qing and his team have turned to another mammal for help: the dog.
So we have the stem cell tooth structure implanted into the dogs. I'm here to look at them and see how they are doing. So this is the operating bed where all the implantation taking place. So we remove the original tooth from the dogs, and then we implanted our stem cell construct, which we believe can regenerate a new tooth. We're going to find out in 6 months.
Regrowing a relatively simple organ like a tooth is one thing, but it's a big leap from that to something as complex as a kidney.
The kidney obviously is a very different organ from a tooth. Nobody has ever been able to regenerate the whole kidney as of now. We're really venturing into uncharted territory here. But I think we're on the right track. To generate the teeth with reprogramming cells in the lab. Can we extract some of those general principles and then we apply that into, say, to grow a real kidney? I think the real challenge for us is finding a good surrogate to grow organs. Our favorite surrogate is a pig, because they have pretty much the same size as an individual, and the kidney structure for the pig is actually very similar to the human. Basically, if you figure out the original stem cell for the kidney, just like what we did with the tooth, and many months later, you should have your kidney. Now we're at the age we're defining every tissue organ at a single cell level. So we have that technology now. I think this may be the final frontier in my view.
Next time on Future Fantastic, the new technologies China is developing to help feed the world, creating improved varieties of crops through the precision editing of their genes, harnessing artificial intelligence to shake up meat production, and reinventing farming by going vertical to help produce enough food for the 10 billion of us who could be on Earth by 2050.
Follow me now, there is somewhere I want to go. You know me well, and that is how it is, it is, it is. You don't know how this came to be.